Hey everyone, this is Peggy with Sweet Tea Makery, and thank you for joining me today. So today we're going to make a Liberty Bell Patriotic themed, and we're going to add a bow and some florals with it, and we may even add a little Deco Mesh. We'll see. So if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, you can do that now and tap the red bell, and that will notify you when I upload new content, and we'll get started. So the first thing that I want to do is tape this little ball down just so that it's just not making a lot of noise while we work on it. And this can easily be removed, as you can see. So the second thing I want to do is I want to talk to you about the floral. So this is a mixed stem bush that has a floral and greenery on it. But when it came to me, or when I purchased it, you can see that the flower is kind of squished. And I've already pre-cut the one I'm going to use today. I've trimmed off about, let's see, probably about 3 inches. So, and this one is a little squished too. So I'm going to turn on my little handheld steamer. And I purchased this on Amazon. It's going to make a little bit of noise, and we'll turn it off here shortly. But as you can see, it's going to steam. So what this is going to do is open up our flowers. And this thing works awesomely. So you don't want to hold it too close to your hand, okay? So what we're going to do is gently just brush against that flower with the steam. Remember, it's hot, so be careful. And we're just brushing. And it's going to open up that flower. You see how much that flower is opened up already? So you don't want it, you want to let it dry for a moment. Now I love this one. I will put a link to where I purchased it down in the description. So this is a very, it's very lightweight. And again, it makes some noise, but it does pretty well. And also, you can just switch it off here, but it has an auto shut off just in case you forget, but it makes so much noise you won't forget it. So I'm going to put it aside, and we'll just take a look at how beautifully that flower has opened up. Now you can also take some ribbon. I've already pre-cut my ribbons for this design, and I had practice, I still practice even though I've been making bows for 30 years. I had already practiced on it a little bit because I couldn't decide if I wanted a 3-loop bow or 4-loop. But, it has some wrinkles in it. So I'm going to turn the steamer back on again. And we're going to see how it works on getting the wrinkles out of your ribbons. And it does help a little bit. You just got to keep, see I'm just doing this here. And you just got to keep pressing it. I do it on the back as well. And it does get a good bit of the wrinkle out of your ribbon, and you can just brush it back. Let's try another place. I just want you to see how this works. This is a canvas ribbon. I'm sure that if it was probably a satin, it might work even more, and you just brush it out and you can see how the wrinkles come out. Just an FYI. Okay, so again, I've already trimmed off this floral stem that has the greenery. And so I'm not going to trim all these pieces off. I'm going to use it as a whole. I think it works beautifully if you just keep it together. And we'll go back. I'm going to tilt you down so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is move some of this down. So I want this to come down here. Because if we're making a swag, I'm going to pull some of this greenery down and maybe some of this. We'll just see how that looks when we get that bow. So I'm kind of leaving a little place here. And you want to give your greenery some life, so you want to move it around, bend it to make it look lifelike, okay? So right now I've got this this bent down, and I have a little place where here flattened where I'm gonna add my bow. I'm just gonna set that side for a moment while we work on our bow. So this is the bow that I'm going to start with. Now this is what we call a vertical patterned ribbon. Okay, so that means that the pattern is up and down. Normally when you see a flag, the stars are at the top and the stripes are down below. So when you make a bow using vertical ribbon, there is a technique that I use so that my bow the pattern is running in the same direction. Here, you can see here, and both sides of my tail. So my loops and tails match. Now I have another video, and I'll link it here in the description, of how you make bows using a vertical pattern ribbon. There's also one for a horizontal pattern which runs in a different direction, but I'll link both of them for you so you can take a look at that video. So this is going to be my base, and the next thing I'm going to add is my other ribbon, which happens to be a canvas ribbon. So I'm going to measure out, let's see, we'll just do a 9-inch tail. So I'm going to pinch it, and let's see, I'm going to do a 5-inch loop. Okay, so I'm measuring out 10. I'm going to bring that down, and I'm just going to pinch it in. Actually, I want to go this way. So I'm going to pull that tail down, and then I'm going to twist it. And again, you can measure back out to make your loop, but I've been making them so long that I can kind of eyeball it. So this is how I'm holding my fingers. I'm bringing that ribbon, I'm moving my finger here. Just going to give you a close-up so you can see what I'm doing. Then I'm going to twist it. I'm going to pull it back again and make my next loop just like this, and you can gather it, and then we're going to twist. Now normally I just stack them in my hand, but today I'm going to use the bow dabra just to stack it. I'm going to slide it down in there, and we can adjust that as we go. So I had this ribbon here. It has, if you can see, I hope, it has some glitter on it, and I really thought that it looked nice, kind of like sparkly, and gives me the sparkle, you know, of the Patriotic. It's a gingham. It's about, I think it's a 7/8 inch ribbon, wired ribbon, and I picked this up on clearance at Walmart after Christmas. So again, I'm going to take this one. Now I'm going to do a little shorter tail. I think I'm just going to, I don't really want, well actually I want a longer one. Let's try that, because I like the way that it curls. Okay, let's do a 12, between a 12 and 10 and a 12. So this one's so simple. You can just pinch it. We're just going to make a smaller loop. Let's measure and see. It's actually about a 3.5 inch loop. Okay. And I'm just going to twist it. We're going to make another loop. Just make sure you can do like this to make sure they measure. It's just going to be a 3-loop bow. I'm going to pull that one back. And I just like the longer tails because I like the way that it curls on there. So we're also going to slide, actually I want to go this way. So we're just going to slide it down in there. And you can use a zip tie or a pipe cleaner. I think maybe today I will use the pipe cleaner. So you can also lift your ribbons up and slide it under like that, but I just lift mine out because it's really not that hard. And I'm pinching as I'm pulling it up. I'm pinching as I pull it up, and I'm just going to stick it in between my thumb and my forefinger just to hold it in place. I'm going to shift this away from me, and I'm just going to kind of work on those loops a little bit as I have it. Then I'm going to take my pipe cleaner, I'm going to lay it down beside my thumb, just like that, okay, and I'm moving my thumb, I'm going to hold it. That kind of gives me a center point, okay. I'm going to open up these two fingers, pull that pipe cleaner through those two fingers. Then I'm just going to take this one and kind of wrap it around. I'm moving my finger open now, where you see that I have those two pipe cleaners now between those two fingers. And if you need to adjust it a little, you can slide it. It's not that hard. Just lift this one up a little bit, slide it back, and pull it back down. Okay, so now I'm going to pinch and squeeze and hold it right in place. Then I'm just going to adjust my loops to where I think I want them. And any adjustments that you need to make, you're going to pull this one. I'm going to pull my tail. Make sure my tails are still going in the same direction. Right? Now I'm going to just squeeze it. Squeeze it and pull this and tug at the same time. And I give it about 2 or 3 twists, and then I'll twist the actual bow just to tighten it up. Okay? And so that way we can finish adjusting and pulling our tails forward. Some of these I like to leave up just to kind of give it a little bit different design flow. And again, you can adjust your loops, and I'm pulling and tugging at the same time. So now you can see that we have a bow, and we'll adjust this even more, because what we're going to do is incorporate that stem, that floral stem, into the design, and it's going to get kind of messed up anyway until we go back and fix it. So I wanted you just to see the bow, how we have it at this time. Okay, and we can pull this tail back down if we want to. We'll see how it goes. So now I'm going to take this floral stem, and I want the poppy to be facing down, so we'll face it down on our bell. So I'm going to scoop that aside, and then we're going to go back through, and I'm going to just place that. I'm going to go around this greenery just like this, and I'm going to tie it to my floral stem. Okay, and I'm just going to give that a nice good twist. Actually, I think what I'll do, what I'm going to do, sorry, before I do that, I'm going to add this here to it. Now this is a heavier jute wrapped wire, and where I got this wire, I'll list it in the there's 2 places that I get this type of wire, and I'll list it in the description. So when I'm working on something that is more of a lighter or galvanized or a lighter type of design, I like to use this lighter, heavier wire as the tie off. It comes like this. You can find it especially in the fall at Hobby Lobby. That's where this one came from. But they have a smaller, thinner version of this that you can purchase both online, and this one may have come from Michael's, but I'll pick it up when I have a coupon, and I just prefer to use that. Now if this particular one will fray a little bit, so if you just dip the ends in your glue pot, that'll keep it prevent it from fraying. I did not did not turn my glue pot on because I didn't think I needed it until now. So, but do that. That helps to keep the fraying, and no one's really going to see it. So we're going to place that right here before we add that to twist our pipe cleaner, and that's just going to be our tie off actually to the bell. And you could tie it to the bow and then tie it to it, you know, either way it'll work. Okay, so I'm just going to set this here for just a second, because what I'm going to do is take this off. I like the way that this is placed on here. It's easily taken off just like this, and then we can add it back on later, but it'll be out of our way as we place our swag, our little bell swag on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is again fluff out this bow, and then I'm going to start moving some of this greenery, moving it through my bow, incorporating down into it, and I'm going to pull that poppy up, straight up into this, to the center of this bow, as you see that. So what you can do, and rather than cutting it up and trying to stack it, it's so much easier to me to utilize these swags as they are and just manipulate them. It's all wired. We have some greenery here, and I'm going to take that, and we're just going to move it forward. We're just making it look incorporated into the bow, like as if it came in the bow. And you just move your tails away. You just keep adjusting it. And you may want to go this way with it, come back through this tail, kind of bring it forward. You see how it's kind of looking? I don't want to overpower this design, so I'm putting most of my greenery toward the top of the bell. That way we won't hide the bell itself if we put too much greenery toward the bottom. Now I've done as much adjusting as I want to do just right now temporarily. So now I'm going to actually add it to the bell, and then we can finish adjusting, and we can trim off this pipe cleaner once we're done. And I think I'm trying to decide, so I had some leftover Deco Mesh, so I just did 2 ruffles and put them together. I tied it together with some bind wire. I know that's hard to see, but bind wire is a wire that is a paper wrapped wire, and I use it a lot in my floral designs, especially as grapevine. So the trick to that is to make sure that you do not take this plastic paper wrap off, because it'll collapse and it'll just start to unravel and make a mess. So you want to pull it. There's always one loose when you get them brand new, and I'll put in the description where you can get this purchased at as well. But anyway, you want to just pull it up from there, trim off a little, and I just used it because that's what I had on hand. You can certainly use a pipe cleaner. So I want to see how this Deco Mesh, the ruffle, looks behind this. We'll open that up a little bit. Just as if it's too much or too overpowering for my design, it just gives it a little bit of sparkle, but sometimes it may be lifting it too much. I kind of like it though. Yeah, lift you up. Sorry guys, I'll just lift you up just a little bit more. I kind of like it. I like the way it lifts it up, so I think that I'm going to incorporate that into this design as well. Now certainly you can put that in before you add the greenery or after. You know, that's what's so great about it, is that you can make that design. So I left that pipe cleaner on there so that I can add this Deco Mesh, and I'm going to see which side I like the best. I like this side going down. Okay, so I'm just going to take my pipe cleaner, capture that Deco Mesh, okay, and I'm just going to twist it on. Again, you can change your design as you go. So I'm going to pull this forward. I just reached back in there and got that heavier gauge wire. And I'm going to find the other one. I'm going to turn it over, guys. And I'm just going to pull it back around so that now that is all out, so we can attach it to our bell. So guys, if you're just joining me or watching me, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that you can get notified when I upload new content. I'm just trimming that off and pinching it inward so that the pointy part doesn't scratch anyone. And so now I think what we're going to do, we're going to take our bell and take that heavier gauge wire. I'm not worried exactly how I'm placing it, okay? Because we can always twist it and shift it. Yep, okay. So, I'm just turning it because it does have a seam. See the seam? Well, seam, I don't know if you see it, but there's a seam to it. And so I like my florals to face forward and the seam to be kind of hidden in the back. So I'm just going to pull it tight. And I'm wrapping, instead of going through the loop, instead of going through the loop of this, because I want to go back and add that rope hanger, the rope hanger we had here. So I'm wrapping around the base of this. And I just wrapped it, and we're just twisting it, and we'll trim that off as we get ready to finish it. So now I'm going to reach in and just twist it so that it's nice and level. See how it's nice and level? And then we're just going to go back through and fluff. You know, pull this Deco Mesh out just a little bit so that it shows the ruffle. I'm just going to adjust it a little bit like that. Go back and keep adjusting our loops, making sure that it's falling in the place that we want it to. Pulling them up. We have our floral in there. We have some greenery, and it's kind of coming through here. And I'm just adjusting it. I'll turn it around so you can see it here shortly. Just making sure that I want this to kind of come a little bit more forward up into there. And of course you can always pull some of your greenery down. You know, however you think your design looks. I'm going to lift some of that up and bend it as you're working with it. Bend it. And I'm going to turn this around so you kind of have a look at how it looks. And this is the bell. And again, you can pull some of this back so that you can see that bell. And I think we need to just adjust the tails just a little bit and open them up. Like this. So you see it. Okay. And we can push this down a little bit more if you want. Bring it forward. However you choose to do that. So I'm going to take these because I like these longer tails. I really like that. I want it to curl. And of course, I knew I would forget my little curly helper, as I call it. But I know exactly where it is. Y'all take a look at this design while I grab that little helper for me. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Okay. So here's my little curling helper. And what that is just the empty tube of a 10-inch Deco Mesh. And so I like the bigger curls on this. So let me show you how this is how I do mine. I take it, well, actually you can do it at the end. Just go to the end. I come down about midway and I just start wrapping it. And I wrap mine at an angle. You see how that, just like that? And then you can just pull it down and adjust it however you want. So we're going to go to the end. I go about midway through, midway down my, you know, depending on the length. And I'm going to hold it with my thumb. And I'm just going to wrap, and I wrap mine, like I say, at an angle. Because I think it just gives a prettier curl. See how it's at an angle? And then you can just pull it out. So that's today's project. It's a Liberty Bell. And I think what I'm going to do is trim this off a little bit. And we'll tuck it under. This is that heavy gauged wire that we tied it off with. Toss that out. I'm going to bend it forward so that it doesn't poke anybody. And you can see how I just bent it on the end. And that's the main part of the project, but what I want to do is add this back into this. Okay, so I didn't cut it, so we're just going to slip it right through. We're going to slip it right through that loop. I'm going to pull it forward, tuck it in through there, and then just pull it. Okay, so now we've got our hanger securely placed back on our design. I mean on our bell. And of course, lastly, we can take this off. And I'm going to lift you up so you can see it as it would hang. And of course, you know, you adjust it again a little bit more. If you want to see more of that flag ribbon, you can pull this down and just adjust it to how you like it. But here's my bell, and you can hang this on a shepherd's hook out in your yard. You can place it just in the center of your dining room table if you want to just make it as home decor for your picnic table outside, your dining room table inside. And again, you can hang it from a garden flag holder as an enhancement for your flag if you have a patriotic flag for outside. But I just love, really truly love how this and actually we'll bring it, how this steamer works on your ribbons and on your florals. Again, remember, look how closed up it was, the way it originally came. And this is, and you can steam it even more if you want it even wider. I like the way that looks, but you can see the difference. And I've put in the description where you can purchase that steamer to get you one if you'd like to use it. So thank you again for joining me. I hope to see you again soon. Give me a thumbs up if you really like this project. Put in the comments if there's any struggles that you need a little help on. I'd be glad to help you about making bows or just anything you can ask. And I hope that you have an awesome 4th of July holiday, or Memorial Day, or Veterans Day, whichever day you're celebrating when you watch this tutorial. But for me, it's close to 4th of July, so I think I'm going to use that in my 4th of July decor. Again, thanks everyone, and I hope that you have a blessed day. And we will see you again soon. Bye now.